On the morning of November 23, 2009, a convoy of vehicles set out along a highway in Maguindanao province in the southern Philippines. By early afternoon, 58 people from that convoy would be dead, buried in a mass grave dug by a backhoe. It remains the single deadliest attack on journalists in recorded history, and the worst incident of election-related violence in Philippine history. For decades, the Ampatuan family had ruled Maguindanao as a political dynasty, backed by armed militias and close ties to the national government. Their power was near total in the province. In 2009, a rival, Ismail Toto Mangudadatu, decided to challenge the Ampatuans for the governorship. Aware of the danger, Mangudadatu chose not to personally file his certificate of candidacy. Instead, he sent his wife, female relatives, lawyers, and a group of journalists, believing wrongly that a convoy of women and press would be safe from violence. As the convoy of roughly 50 people traveled toward the town of Sharif Agwak to file the paperwork, it was stopped at a checkpoint by dozens of armed men. Witnesses and later investigations pointed to a coordinated operation involving members of the Ampatuan clan, private militia, and, controversially, police and military personnel. The convoy was diverted to a remote, hilly area. What followed was a mass execution. Almost everyone in the convoy was killed, including Mangudadatu's wife and two sisters, lawyers, aides, and passers-by who had the misfortune of driving the same road that day. 32 of the dead were journalists and media workers, covering the filing of candidacy as a routine campaign story. The bodies and the vehicles were buried in a mass grave, apparently in an attempt to conceal the crime. The plan unraveled when soldiers and a helicopter reached the site later that afternoon. The killings triggered national outrage. Then President Gloria Macapagal Arroyo placed Maguindanao and neighboring provinces under a state of emergency. Investigators soon implicated the Ampatuan family directly, alleging the massacre had been orchestrated to eliminate a political rival and intimidate the press. Nearly 200 people were eventually charged with murder. Several suspects, including police officers, evaded capture. At least 3 witnesses in the case were killed in the years that followed, underscoring the climate of impunity investigators were working against. The trial became known in the Philippines as the trial of the decade. It ran for 10 years, hearing testimony from hundreds of witnesses. Andal Ampatuan Sr., the family patriarch, died in prison in 2015 before the verdict was reached. His case was dismissed as a result. On December 19, 2019, Judge Jocelyn Solis Reyes of the Quezon City Regional Trial Court delivered the verdict. The court found Andal Ampatuan Jr., his brother Zaldi Ampatuan, and 26 accomplices, including senior police officials, guilty of murder, sentencing them to reclusion perpetua, effectively up to 40 years in prison without parole. A number of additional defendants were convicted as accessories and given shorter sentences. Another brother, Sajid Islam Ampatuan, was acquitted. Of the 197 people eventually charged, 8 had died before the trial concluded, and roughly 80 suspects remained at large at the time of the verdict. 58 people went to file an election document. 58 people did not come home.